you know, handful of your favorite rap albums. Hell, if you got some R&B joints that stood out. I don't want to go into detail for time's sake for each one, but you could just highlight a list of a few and maybe, speak briefly on one that stood out to you, and then we'll just kind of toss it around and go from there. So Jay Diff, I know you got a list, and I know you listen to, we all listen to some everything, so you probably got some R&B and some hip hop as well. So name a few joints that stood out to you this year, man, and standout records.
Okay, I'll give you a little bit.
Give me some.
And I know I left some stuff off here. This is me just writing stuff down off the top of my head that I've been listening to this year, right? So my hip hop joints, Reason, New Beginnings, that really stood out to me. TDE release. It was something about it was just really dope to me. Of course, the Freddie Gibbs, Alchemist, Alfredo. That mug, self-explanatory.
Yes, sir.
Fox Legend, God-like energy. And I hate to be that dude that's biased and say just because I was there during sessions or, had a little bit of input or an ear for it on it, it still turned out to be one of the best releases I heard this year. And that's just facts. Benny the Butcher, Burden of Proof. To me, out of the trio of Griselda, Benny the Butcher has always been my favorite, and that release, Burden of Proof, is just the one for me. I don't know. West Side Gun. So I got two Griselda joints on here. Pray for Paris.
Okay.
Stand out and joint as well. I got a couple honorable mentions. Jay Electronica, Written Testimony, honorable mention. Big Sean, Detroit 2, honorable mention. And that Nas, King's Disease. And then I got, for my R&B joints, R&B or other per se, I got Dinner Party by Terrace Martin, Kamasi Washington, Robert Glasper, and Ninth Wonder. Bryson Tiller, y'all might be sleep on this one. The Bryson Tiller, the anniversary joint was actually pretty dope, in my personal opinion.
Okay.
Thundercat, It Is What It Is, was dope. Definitely good. Xavier Omar, If You Feel, good album. Another joint, cat named Giveon had a release called Take Time, really good release. Leon Bridges and a group called Kruggenbin, something like that, had a release called Texas Sun, which was an EP that was really good. Those are my R&B and other joints. So run this back if y'all need to hear those again. We might actually even have them listed in the description so you can be up on them.
We could drop them in the Discord too if you guys want to drop the. We can put this in a thread.
Okay,
might be a good idea.
Jay Moore, give me a quick rundown. Give me a list of some albums that stood out to you in 2020.
Okay, because I will be releasing Jay Moore's favorite joints of 2020 on all of my social media.
Okay.
On first, so you guys have something to argue about if you're in the house and you're not going out on New Year's Eve. I'm not going to give you all of them here. But my top joint for the year, I'll just be honest, the one that I listened to the most was Pray for Paris by West Side Gun. I love that record.
Yes.
He put out a couple more joints this year. I thought that one was the one, if people could go outside and it was really a time for us to, to really share and vibe to music in public spaces. Like, I feel like that's the one that would have really set it off.
People.
Wow.
This is a record I really love that if the clubs were open, it would have been a problem. And we can talk about this when we in our first 2021 conversation about the clubs and what's relevant in hip hop. Like I said, I'm not going in order. I'm leaving some out just because I want to have some suspense for my list that I release on social media. The Hustle Continues by Juicy J. That's in my top 5. It's not 5, but it's in my top 5.
Okay.
Burden of Proof by Benny the Butcher. I think that's on everybody's list. As far as like favorite hip hop albums. Streams of Thought, Volume 3 by Black Thought. I started really running that probably the last month or so. I mean, I love that record. Run the Jewels 4, not my favorite Run the Jewels album, but still, I think a really good album and very much reflective of what's going on in the world right now. Even though I've had my criticisms for Jay Electronica on this show, and I've been very honest about how I feel about, I think it's more about his work ethic and not actually his ability to put an album together, because like I did really enjoy a written testimony. I just felt like it was a Jay-Z album featuring Jay Electronica, but like that doesn't take away from the fact that as a singular piece of art, it was something that I enjoyed. And a record that we talked about a little bit here, and I don't think got a lot of pub, for whatever reason. And I don't want to say this is a sleeper because of who he is, but I've listened to A Beautiful Revolution by Common a few more times, and I've really got to enjoy that record. As far as like my
I'm
R&B
still
bag
cool on
and
that one.
R&B dude, but like I just couldn't get into the R&B this year. What I loved? I feel like Usher put out 2 incredible songs and y'all completely lamed out on them. Like Don't Waste My Time featuring Ellie Mae. I thought that was an incredible record.
That is fire.
And I really love Bad Habits, which is playing on urban AC radio, but I guess it's too R&B to play on mainstream hip hop urban radio. I think that is a fantastic, especially when it goes into the Computer Love breakdown. And it works when you play it out in public. It's just like, it's so not what the sound is right now as far as what the R&B that they're playing on mainstream urban radio. But I feel like if we could go outside, Usher would have had a much bigger year. Like I said, my full list will be out in a day. Actually, 2 days.
Sound like you got a whole list of stuff tucked. So I'll be curious.
I got a few. I think it's a consensus about what was good this year and what was. I think the one that I think a lot of people are sleeping on just because we're not outside is the Juicy J album. That's an incredible project.
I can't wait to hear
Juicy J. I will to your point. The Juicy J album definitely has some bangers on there, and if the club was open like it's supposed to be, that mug will be going off. But I want to shout out Brother to the Night, because that 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐃𝐒, I think that's her name, �KeKe album was definitely dope. I do love that album too.
That's the one I got.
Yeah,
that's the one I got to get back on, because I see that on everybody's list and I missed it. Go ahead, Lone, because I want to hear your list. I'm curious to see what you got.
Yeah, I got some projects. I have a song too that I'm curious. I'm going to drop the name of it in the chat real quick. I'm curious if you guys have heard this one, because this song is fire. I don't know his name. 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐃𝐒. Here, I'll just share it. That joint. And featuring Adeline. That joint is really, really cold. And I went back and did a deep dive on a lot of this guy's music, and it's actually really, really dope. But anyways, projects. Well, a lot of the projects I'm going to share are ones that are not on anybody's list so far. So
I love it. That's why I'm excited.
The obvious ones that we kind of agree on, that I think most people in the chat probably have bumped, are the Gibbs Alchemist, Alfredo Ray, Burden of Proof by Benny, Black Thought Streams of Thought 3. Those are 3 that I did enjoy. I will say that this year for me, it's not that I didn't listen to a lot of music. I didn't listen to a lot of newer music on repeat as much as I have in the past. And I don't know if that's because of the year circumstance or what exactly. But here's a handful of joints as well. One that just dropped was Murs and DJ Fresh's Love and Rockets Volume 2. Now, I was a really big fan of Murs the first time I heard him, which was his Ninth Wonder album 316. I thought that, and to this day, that's my favorite Murs record. But Love and Rockets 2 to me is the closest he's come to an album like that. The production is really, really dope. Very consistent. I really like his song or his subject matter. I'm a fan of that. Odyssey. Now, he dropped the Odd Cure this year. Now, granted, I don't think the Odd Cure was his best work necessarily. It kind of sounded like it was maybe a continuation of the latest style of music that he's been putting out. Because with Odyssey, we've come to to expect, and I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily, like a different type of sound every time he drops a new record. And 𝗏𝗀 was kind of similar to the last project.
Yep.
I think it was really good, and I think it got slept on a little bit, but that was a dope record. One of the ones that I really liked this year, one of my favorites from this year, was 𝗀𝗲 and Chris Keys' Innocent Country 2. The beats were really cold. The concepts were really dope.
That's the one I couldn't remember. That's the one I couldn't remember that you put me on. That shit is fire. That shit is fire.
𝗀𝗲 has an interesting voice, so if you're not really into 𝗀𝗲, you may not like it, but I thought it was really dope. Open Mic Eagle dropped Anime, Trauma, and Divorce. Again, Open Mic Eagle is kind of an eclectic type of artist, so if you're not into like his unique style of lyricism and production choices, you may not dig it, but I feel like this was one of his most strongest personal projects. I actually liked it quite a bit. What else we got here? I got a handful more. Suff Daddy. This ain't a hip hop record necessarily, but Suff Daddy dropped Pompette. Really, really dope project. Just, Suff Daddy very rarely misses ever. I would also throw in, I don't know what he goes by. I think I always call him Khan, but it's K-A-A-N, with the little periods in between it.
Yeah.
He did a project with Flo Fields called Lost in Translation that was pretty smooth. I really like that joint a lot. I suggest looking that up. I'm going to share all these in the chat too, so you guys can see the names. I think I got two more. Devin Burgess dropped a project called Alano. Devin Burgess is a cat that Mike, you and I met when we did that show at that the Healer place. He was with them cats from Cincinnati.
From Cincinnati. Yep.
Yeah, and so he's a real cool cat, but he's a really dope producer, and he's a dope rhymer as well. He dropped a project called Alone. If you're not familiar with him, I would definitely suggest checking that out. Definitely kind of more underground, so you most likely haven't heard of him. But if you have, hey, props to y'all. And the last one I'm gonna throw out there is the local nobody. Shouts to Suleiman and Mavian for getting back together and dropping a new project.
That's the fam right there. That's the fam.
And Suli's one of my favorite rappers, period. And Mavian's a really talented musician. So I'm a big local nobodies fan. So I was happy to see them put out new music. So check out See What Happens. And then of course there's a ton of other music too, but that's just
all right.
Quick run.
So I'll be brief. So
there's a lot of dope stuff out there.
Yeah. Let's see. So
I hate when people say that there ain't nothing out there though. That's what kills me.
Y'all mentioned
people say that
really connected. I mean, I'm just saying, everybody who complains about there being no good hip hop, if you have a smartphone, if you got one of these and you got Tidal, or you got, which is what I have, Spotify or whatever, basically you have access to almost every song ever released ever in the history of music. For you to say that there's nothing good to listen to and that your favorite artists aren't doing anything is like, those artists that you want music from, quote unquote, from back in the day, they're still putting, people's like, oh, well, I loved when Public Enemy was out. Public Enemy put out a new album this year.
Hoodie Mob put out an album this year. All of that.
I hate hearing those complaints.
Yeah,
about my whole thing is
you're not required to listen to Megan Thee Stallion and whoever else is on the radio. Like if you don't like that music,
people's problem is they're lazy listeners and they don't want to dig and find stuff that they actually like they did when they was younger. It's like they're stuck in the same rut and they want to keep hearing the same stuff from the same artists. But there's artists that are up and coming that are just as good.
Yep.
100%. I have to get put on. Like I always pay attention to people that try to send me something. I get excited for it because there's a lot that I probably am missing out on. So I get excited when somebody that I deem credible will send me something like, yo, you have to go listen to this right now. But as for my list, y'all pretty much, I mean, only one I didn't hear, I don't think from you guys was, I don't think anybody mentioned King's Disease. I don't think anybody mentioned
Terry honorable mention.
Oh, honorable mention. Okay, Terry did. Okay. I got Yo Gotti Untrapped was one that I didn't hear. I like that one.
You ain't fuck with Yo Gotti.
Don't do that. I'll be riding Yo Gotti, I'm telling you. Currency and Harry Fraud's the director's cut. Nicole hype about that. That was dope.
That
Did anybody
shit is
mention?
dope.
Anybody mention Conway's from the King to a God? I can't remember. Did we mentioned that.
I was saving
We
that.
talked about it in pre. Okay,
It was cool. It's cool.
I like that.
It wasn't in my top 5.
Y'all named
Be
most of them, man.
Be careful now.
Yeah, Sky Zoo Milestones. I thought that was dope.
No, that Sky Zoo was dope.
Let's see, nobody named Buster. That's my man DJ Nate Jeezy. He have a
that's an honorable mention.
he have a
That's just
he have an
wasn't the
asthma
top
attack.
5, but it's definitely top 10.
He have an asthma
I wish they
attack.
would have put out
somebody get an album.
put out a version without Chris Rock.
Hey, my dude Nate Jeezy have an asthma attack.
Hey, some of the Chris Rock shit makes sense though. Some of it.
Not all of it, but some of it. And other than that, Libra, I like that. That was dope. But y'all pretty much hit the nail on the head for the rest of them. Other than that, man, Cleo Soul is fire. Rose in the Dark. That's
I'm sleep on that one. I gotta get hit.
Please go check that out. Cleo Soul, Rose in the Dark. Very good. That's high on my list. Carlita Duran's Green, I believe is how it's pronounced. That album is dope. Shout out to the homie tall black guy. He had a joint on there with Zoe. Fire. Janae Aiko, I think it's Chilumbo is how you pronounce it. That's dope. And CeeLo Green is Thomas Calloway. Is fire. Like good traditional songwriting. CeeLo just gets slept on to me as an artist, man. That shit is dope. If you really sit down and listen to it, it's got some heat. So those are the ones that stood out to me.
What if we don't really sit down and listen to it?
You know how you can really sit down, you can halfway sit down, you can squat. Album's still gonna be fire. But those are the ones that stood out to me.
What about I was gonna say, okay, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, please listen to that Cleo Soul. If I was to give y'all one to really go listen to that you haven't heard, go listen to that one. That one is fire. Go ahead, Lon.
I was just gonna say, if you guys had one song, you guys got a song this year that stands out?
One song?
I forgot to mention
one.
I forgot to mention Lil Baby too. Lil Baby's album was dope. I like that one too. I forgot to mention him. But his album was dope.
Roddy Rich. Shout out to Roddy Rich. He put out a good project. So did YG. People didn't really
Roddy Rich's album
vibe with that YG project.
Year.
That was a good project.
Yeah. Roddy Rich was 19.
There was technically 2019 joints though.
Was it?
Right.
Yeah, everything's
Rich
running
was
together.
19.
Like I forget that Tiger King was this year. I mean, like I just don't know.
If I had to pick a song though, Lon, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's this year's a blur, bro. When it comes to a song, man. Like
that Scotty Beam was hard though. Scotty Beam.
Yeah, that was hard. That was hard.
Yeah.
What's his name? Man.
For me, I'll just be honest. I mean, as much hip hop as I listen to, if we could have been outside like at the Red Room on Thursday nights, drinking bourbon and smoking cigars, I'm telling you, Usher's "Don't Waste My Time" with Ellie Mae, that would have been the song of the summer.
That song was
fire. We actually, I think I want to say it was out before everything shut down, wasn't it?
It was out
it had a little moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what?
Because I think we might have snuck it in. I think we might have snuck it in.
We did. 'Cause I remember.
Yeah.
I remember Indiana Jones really messed with that song. So.
Yeah, I think we snuck that shit in.
It was before the complete shutdown, but I feel like it could have had a whole nother life over the summer if we'd have. It just is one of them songs that felt like summertime.
Oh, MCA.
Yeah, definitely.
MCA dropped a good project too.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he had some slaps on the low.
Don't sleep on that one. Don't sleep on that one.
MCA has
DJ 𝐀𝐄 put out a dope, because his lead single had, and this feels like so long ago, but it was this year. It was with Bun B and Queen Latifah of all people, and it slapped.
I saw it. It slapped. Yeah, man. Like it was some good stuff on there. I did not think I was gonna rock with Lil Baby's album like I did, but he got some heat on there. I ain't gonna hold you. I've never been the biggest fan of like the the quote unquote the trap singing, if you will. But fam really talking about some stuff on there. He got some heat. I was impressed. So shout out to him.
Lil Baby can actually rap as a mainstream rapper, so to speak. I mean, and these is air quotes, a mainstream rapper. Lil Baby ain't a slouch. You know what I'm saying? He can actually spit. He can outshine the Migos. You see, QC ain't checking for the Migos at all no more.
Don't do that long.
It's saying something from a QC point of view and from popularity point of view. I mean, because he pretty much deaded anything that they was gonna do.
But I thought you said out-rapped. That's where I was like.
Well, I'm saying from a QC point of view, they're not worried about Migos anymore. Yeah. It's more pushing.
Nah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's more pushing him because he's so much better. But
yeah. There's a lot of music that's dropped this year. There's a lot of music. So as with every year.
Shout out to Duke Deuce too. That's probably my vice, man. Like
Craig G put out a really good EP.
I like Duke Deuce.
Yeah, Craig G had a nice record come out. Yeah. Shout out to Craig G.
Yeah, he's good.
Starlito had a cool album too. Paternity Leave was kind of solid.
Ciroc dropped a dope album.
Oh, I forgot about Sharecropper's Daughter. Yeah, fire.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Yeah, she's dope. Yeah, she's extremely dope. So a lot of music, man. Like it's almost it's hard to digest all that shit, man. But these are just the ones that stood out to us.
Yeah, I know we missed, and these are just handfuls. So if y'all want to throw some in the comment section, for those on YouTube, in the chat, for those on Twitch, you know what I'm saying? Feel free. Yeah. Sharing is caring.
Join us on Discord. We're gonna create a thread here on in a music discussion.
Yeah, I need y'all to definitely I need y'all to definitely continue to put us on game, because I get excited when I hear something new or something dope. And Dave Moore, I always credit him for this. He's one of the people that really checked me on the part about what he just said today about, man, you can't complain about it because it's dope music out there. He said that to me, I don't know, man, it was probably he might not even remember, like 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. And I was like, you know what? He's right. It's too much dope stuff out here for me to be worrying about stuff that don't matter. Just focus on what you like and support what you like.
Because you wasn't paying attention and bringing down a band at all.
No, I'm one of those people. Y'all have don't even get me started on that, on how much y'all have put people on, and never mind, I ain't gonna go down the road.
If you've enjoyed this segment of the New Old Heads podcast, make sure to join our live show every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/bringingdowntheband, and join our private Discord community with talks on hip hop, music, news, and everything else.